The present moment is that sweet spot where we are no longer dwelling in the past and we are not projecting ourselves into the future. We are fully locked in to presence, what we could call embodiment, that stillness. And when we drop into the present moment, it's like we know that we're in the present moment. There is a unimaginable peace that comes in when we are fully present. Many of us have experienced it from time to time in our life, but to experience it as your life, as you live your life, fully engaged in presence, is the most incredible way to live your life, to walk through your days, to grow. Presence is where it's at. So how do we know we're in the present moment? I have a great story that I heard from a professional hockey player. He was hooked up to, all the testing things as he was on the ice, and his heartbeat, his breathing, everything, all the biomarkers. And as he would get the puck to do a, run at the net, all of a sudden his heart rate would go down, his breathing would come into an incredible rate, and they were like, wow, like you're doing a breakaway. That should be when everything speeds up. That should be when everything goes berserk. But no, he was in the pocket. He was in the pocket. And that's what the present moment feels like. You're literally so clear and concise and relaxed and in the pocket. So you could feel that playing with your children. You could feel just so clear to be in their aura, in their field, or with, a walk in nature. You could just feel so clear, and that time, it's like time stands still in the present moment, because it's like you've moved beyond time, actually. So how do I live in the present moment? And what came first, the chicken or the egg? The thoughts are cloudy, distorted, all over the place. We're unorganized, or we're projecting into anxiety. But why did that happen? Because we weren't present. So if we were present, we wouldn't be projecting all over the place and all, this cacophony of thoughts, and not being how we want to be living. We need to be present. And when we're present, we will find that our thoughts aren't cluttered, where our mind becomes clear. If we notice, and then we can reverse it, like I was saying. So if we notice that we're in chaos and we're running loops, we're running programs, we're running patterns in our mind, or we literally can feel ourselves all the time thinking about, oh my gosh, what if this happens? So that would be the future. What if this happens? What if this happens? And the past is, oh, that happened. Oh, that happened. So if we notice that, we notice, hey, I'm not present. So that's a great indicator. We're not present, because we truly don't feel like there's emergencies when we're present. We feel like we can tackle any challenge. Any challenge that comes our way, when we're present, it just comes, it rolls in. But because we're so clear and allowing, because life is about allowing, we're going to have lots of challenges, lots of issues that come up for us. That's why we're here, to know ourselves. So as those roll towards us, they literally roll towards us, but we don't deflect them. We don't negate them. We allow them. And when we're present, we see that we're able to really manage them and actually come into a higher resolution of solution for those challenges. I've been saying for a long time, there are no emergencies. And what do I mean by that? So often we overextend ourselves as far as what is a true emergency. Now, there are real emergencies. If there's an accident on the highway, yes, that's an emergency. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about how we live our day-to-day life, where we think everything is the end of the world. Many of us can go into that space where, oh my gosh, this is happening and this is happening. What I'm saying is there are no true emergencies, is that when you're present, you get to handle things from such a higher perspective and vantage point that there are so many solutions available to what you deemed as an emergency. And from that higher perspective, you are going to see that it wasn't an emergency. It was just a situation coming forward for you to resolve. So the higher we are in frequency resonance, which would naturally assemble ourselves, so not in the past, not in the future. We literally imagine a beautiful pillar, that you're present in that pillar. You assemble yourself matching up to that pillar of presence, and from there, all possibilities become available because you're clear, you're online, and you're available to see and hear and know them all. What can pull us into the present moment? So what I teach here is with frequencies. So the higher frequency always overrides and dismisses the lower frequencies. So those distractions, those pulls off center, with a higher frequency, we release that. But also, what can we do? Nature is an incredible way to become one again in presence, just dropping into, for me, there's a river right here, so just really connecting to the sound of the river, to the flow of the river, and that's where we become timeless again, and we feel ourselves dropping into that space. But the biggest thing for me that helped me, that I see help the many people that I help, is becoming so present in the body, using the body, connecting to our breath, feeling the speed to which we're breathing, and really becoming our breath. So we become one with our body. Perhaps feeling our heart, feeling our heartbeat, becoming one with the body. Dancing is a great way. Kissing, hugging, being with children in their beautiful essence. They are so present. They only know presence. They're taught, they literally are taught and pulled out of presence, but initially they come fully present. Animals, the same thing, especially wild animals. They only know how to be present. Domesticated animals, their natural state is presence, just like us, but they too can get pulled out. But I would say, when I'm around my animals, when you're around your pets and just brushing them, or, just petting them, or just sitting beside them, that's an incredible way to become present. Going to the gym, looking in the mirror at yourself, looking into your eyes. Sometimes that's really hard for people at the beginning because we see the things that aren't us, in our eyes. We can see the shadows of who we are, but we never hide from the shadows of who we are. We want to be aware of everything that's inside of us, so staring into our eyes will pull us in to the present moment, and eventually it gets to a place where you're really clear in frequency resonance, and you're really present, so you love looking into your eyes because the landscape there is just endless. Your potential is endless, and you can see that as you look in your eyes. So getting massages, body work done, listening to incredible music, so choosing your music carefully. I really like to choose high frequency music, and you'll start to know, it's like this music pulls me into, it feels kind of distorted, I don't like it anymore, and there's other music where it can heighten your awareness. So how do we feel safe in the world when there's so much going on in the outside world and potentially our inside world? A client asked about, we could be going to war. So this is a great opportunity for us to become more present. It's like what I talked about, that there are no true emergencies. We're meant to deal with what's right in front of us. That's the key. When we're present, we are available to what is happening in this moment. We do not project to other places in the world where things may be happening. Yes, we want to be aware. I'm saying we never want to, not acknowledge all the hardships, all the travesties, the abuse, the potential for war. We want to be aware of that for sure. But there's a point where, okay, we've got the awareness, but now we're here to live. We're here to help. We're here to, to really serve and to have a life well lived. So the key is to be present. So that stillness, that quiet, we get to see. It's like, this is my next step for now. We don't say, oh my gosh, this could happen to me. When we're present, we're not going to be all over the place saying, well, what if this happens and what if that happens? What if war happens, or what if something happens to my country? When we're present, we're able to, with clarity, get information, know what's important for us to live with inside of us, to know what is important, and the rest to leave it for now. And when it is truly important for us, it will make itself available for us to be able to have action around it. The whole point is we don't need to have actions around something that doesn't exist in our reality at this point. That's where overwhelm comes in. When we're present, we deal with what's in our reality right now, facing it head on, and in that presence, moving from that higher perspective with lots of really grand, unlimited solutions. Another client shared, it's really hard to be present when I was abused as a little girl. I keep going to that memory, and how can I be present when that memory exists and it's so strong? It has such a charge. And again, true forgiveness, that comes through presence. That comes through being so still with yourself again that you no longer wish to live from a space of suffering. So we suffer when we project into the future, and we suffer when we are constantly living a past event in our life. No matter how hard and challenging, we've all had very challenging things happen in our life. That's part of being human. But there comes a point where we have to decide whether we want to live that reality, which is fine. Some people want to live that reality, but many people have decided they want to let that go now because there's a lot of pain in that. So the key is to choose something different than constantly running that memory, constantly running a trauma that happened to us. When we become present, we can't run that past event anymore. It won't exist because all we have in the present moment is what's in front of us right now. And if you look around, you'll notice that right now, actually, everything is fine. Everything is good. If you truly are present, you'll see. So that's the key. It's a choice that we make, that we no longer want to be in suffering. And then true forgiveness comes from, and true forgiveness of the self and of others, it comes when we drop into presence. So that means we drop into the frequency of unlimitedness, of oneness, of peace. And from there, you will see that you start creating from this moment. So your story, you no longer hold on to stories. So many of us in the past, we know to, tell great stories. But when we're truly present, we don't tell so many stories anymore because we're so excited about actually living, creating the story, and then leaving the story behind as you've created it because you're so engaged in actually living life. It's a beautiful opportunity for all of us to start living from a different vantage point where we are aware, we know, but we choose something different now. So will living in the present moment take me out of my goal set, the goals I've got in place? And what's really interesting about that is when you are present, you may find that your goals really shift and change and fall away. Because being present is so much more profound than a goal. It's so much more profound than something we've written down on a piece of paper. What we can actually access when we're present is, it's like unleashing your superpowers. And so you no longer have these, goals where, you want to check them off a list and feel like you've accomplished that in your life. You're going for, the big guns. You're going for your unlimited nature, which is what is available to you in this moment, is in presence, is far more than any goal could ever give you. Because it's here right now that you create. You create the goals. They're here right now. They're happening for you in this moment. So we deal with it right now. We don't wait for the future. Everything is right now in the present moment. And you'll get way better results. It's always waiting for our life to happen, waiting for us to reach that, space where it's like, wow, I finally got what I was hoping for. But it's in the waiting, actually, that's a wasted, um, that's a wasted energy from what I can see. We want to be engaged in the now. When we're engaged in the now, there is no projection like that. There is no waiting, because everything is part of your journey. You'll see that all the things you're working on today are the stepping stones, and that waiting falls away because you've filled your day up with the steps and the things that bring you pleasure and joy. So you don't feel like you're waiting anymore. You've filled up that void. So yes, we can still be waiting for that ultimate dream. That ultimate dream could still be there in the future. We have a future vision of ourselves. That can still exist there. We don't take away from that. But if we're always thinking about that, how are we living in the present moment? We have to choose one or the other. So we have that. We know that vision is there. We know where we're going. And then we get back to creating our day, creating our best day possible. How are we going to fill it up? What are we going to do in this day to make it our best day, with everything that we have in front of us? So we're going to become clear, we're going to be present, and that's where the ideas are going to come in. That's where your creativity is going to come in. That's where your joy is going to come in. And then it'll become just a path home, a path to your unlimited nature, a path to that goal, a path to your greatest desire. But you're walking it, you're breathing it, and you're living it all day long. So you don't feel like you're missing anything. What does the present moment have to do with being limitless? When we are present, everything is available to us. It's like all the filters have pulled away, all the programming gets pulled away, all the programs, all the thought bubbles, all the distractions, and we become so clear that we know. It's not that we become limitless, we already are limitless. So that becomes so clear for us in presence that we know we are, because all these incredible opportunities start showing up for us, these ideas, these creative, ingenious ideas start showing up for us, resolutions for things we've always wondered, it comes up for us. It's like we've cracked the code. In presence, we crack the code to what we already hold within us, which is an unlimited natural state of being. And our natural state of being, a reminder, is being in full vitality with our bodies. We allow our bodies to always be constantly, naturally healing and keeping us in vibrancy and strong. It allows us, our natural state allows our mind to be, really ageless and open and expansive, to a real dynamic way of using the mind. And our natural state also, with our heart and that, that part of us that is pure existence, our natural state is so expansive and loving and helpful, in service. It's gracious, it's egoless, it knows truth when it feels it. It's in harmony with all things. It makes great choices about things that no longer serve us, whether people, places, or things. Our natural state provides for us and gives us a great navigational system. So to be in our natural state, we are present. To be unlimited, we are present. We are clicked in to that beautiful frequency where we're clear, we're concise, and able to really transmute all things.